everybody, and a very, very warm welcome to the studio for the recording of a new episode of This Age. I'm Julia Streets.
I'm Antoinette Raymond.
And this is all about ripping up the rule book for women over 50.
It's about harnessing the vibe of that tribe.
And also about inspiring the next generation of women and men, and also respecting those who have gone before. So next guest, Yvonne Thompson CBE.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
So excited. We're all so excited.
Yeah. So in the 90s, set up her own PR agency, first black-owned PR agency, recognising that the industry did not reflect people of colour at all.
Yeah.
And then went on to do Choice Radio, like founding member of Choice Radio. For me, first car, preset number one was Choice. Like, loved it. Absolutely loved it.
Preset number one. That's the best. One of the things I actually love in the research that we've done about her is her advocacy for minority representation on FTSE boards. What I love is she doesn't just walk the walk. I mean, she's so intentional in all she does and makes change, makes beautiful change.
Yeah. She's also set up Win Trade, which is a network for women in trade.
Yeah.
And there's no stopping this woman. She's recently done a skydive. Can you believe it? Yeah.
Of course she has.
Yeah.
In all that spare time.
Yes.
That she's not doing.
Yeah. So she's
Amazing.
skydived.
I'm in awe.
Done the skydive to raise funds for organisations that are tackling injustice. What an awesome
She's going to
woman.
be an amazing guest.
Can't wait.
Yeah.
Cannot wait.
Putting on a rocket, now it's flying all the way to you. I've got sunshine in my pocket and I put it on.
So we'll be coming to Yvonne very shortly, but with every episode, we're going to start with a topic that is front of mind for women in the tribe who tell us this is on their minds. So Antoinette, what are we talking about?
So one of the topics that comes up all the time is about confidence. And because it's thrown around as a word so often, I like to start backwards to the definition and then build from there. And one of my favorite definitions of confidence is this: feeling sure of yourself and your abilities, not in an arrogant way, but in a realistic, secure way. Confidence isn't about feeling superior to others. It's a quiet inner knowledge that you are capable. And I like that definition because it's all mine. It's calming. It's I'm able to build on it, and it isn't about other people. It's my confidence. And I think one of the things they talk about is that when you feel good, when you feel confident, the energy shifts. Things happen. It just shifts. People start to pay attention to you. You gather energy, and you become able to be on top of your game. So one of the things I love talking about, and what they were asking us for, what tricks help you find that place? So I'm asking you, what tricks do you use to keep your confidence up?
So I think one of them is if I can feel it within my soul, then it becomes a kind of a vortex of energy. The calm, it's quite calm, but it's quite solid, and it just kind of it's an energy that will come from within. The other thing that gives me confidence is I just smile. If you smile, every time I walk onto stage, within about a minute before I go on stage, I smile. When you smile, people smile back.
I'm also smiling back because that's one of mine. I
Oh,
love
is it?
No, it's absolutely one of mine. No, I agree. It's when I am not feeling 100%. And if I just kind of calm down, refresh some lipstick, and smile, I'm good to go.
Today we have the one, the only Yvonne Thompson CBE in the house. Oh, Yvonne, welcome. How are you?
I am fantastic. I'm even more energized now I'm in the studio. You guys are really hyper.
So the thing I love about Yvonne Thompson CBE is because she has ripped up the rule book her entire career. As if that's not enough. I don't know whether you know this.
As if that's not enough, because, she's got time in her day.
To do a skydive. Recently did a skydive in aid of two amazing charities. Kick us off with the charities.
Oh, wow. Well, thank you very much. First of all, thank you. I'm so pleased to be here. I'm one of these people that love to give. I give of myself all the time. So I was approached by the London Legal Service Trust, which is a charity that supports both legal organisations, but also people who cannot afford legal aid as it used to be. And the other one that I jumped for is one of my favourites and very close to my heart. It's the anti-human trafficking organisation called Not for Sale. They're
Amazing.
global. It's amazing.
Well, so if you want to know more about those charities, they're absolutely on all of our marketing materials surrounding this episode. So you can certainly donate and support. Anybody who throws themselves out of an aeroplane deserves our support, I think, for sure.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Can I just say, people paid a lot of money to see me do that, to watch me do that. So
I don't know whether that's a compliment. It's a kind of,
I know, I know. It wasn't-
yeah, I was
yeah,
gonna
good.
say, I'm
I'll
not
pay you a
sure.
lot of money if
I
you
like
throw yourself
it.
out an aeroplane.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
I jump. I would jump. People pay. I'd do it. I love it. One of the things we loved when we were meeting you, talking to you, researching all the wonderful things you've done in your career is you've ripped up the rule book. What's one of the key areas you're proud of?
wow, there are so many. There are so many. But I think I always go back to the very first time I considered that I ripped up the rule book. Because if it wasn't for that, I wouldn't have done all the things I've done throughout my life. So the very first one was I worked at one of the record companies, I'll name it, CBS Records. And I was there for about 7.5 years. Throughout that time, I was the only person of colour visible. There were other people of colour, but they were on the switchboard or they were cleaners. They weren't visible as part of the organisation. And I kept applying to be promoted throughout that time. I think I did it 3 times. And then after the 3rd time, I was refused to be paid for the job that I would sometimes stand in for. I decided that the only way for me to move up was to move out. 3 weeks later, I started the first Black-owned PR company. I mean, it was a huge thing to do 40 years ago because it was a time when you still needed a man to sign a guarantee to borrow money from the bank, and I needed money from the bank. It was a time when no other PR companies were looking after Black artists. In fact, there were no Black PR companies. So it was really a huge step into the unknown, and I'm very much about loving the unknown. So, but this is where the unknown has brought me to the rest of my life.
Love that story. Love that story. So what was that which kept you going, though? That must have been scary. I mean, I think brave when I hear that story. What kept you going?
Well, at the time, when I was thinking about it, everybody, including my family, was saying, are you sure you're doing the right thing? What are you doing, leaving a good job? You know, all those things that you have a nemesis on your shoulder telling you don't do it. But I always go by saying, you got to find your focus and focus on your focus. And I was very focused about working for myself. And I had to be very focused because at the time when I left, I had a 5-year-old daughter. And that's what kept me going. That 5-year-old daughter is now 48 years old and works with me and has given me 2 wonderful German grandchildren.
Love it. Love it. Focus on your focus.
Yeah, I love that. I love
That
that.
is it.
And I know you're probably one of the most focused people I know. Actually, I've ever had the privilege of getting to know. And but I'm curious. After the age of 50, talk to us about something you did after the age of 50, where you ripped up the rule book.
After the age of 50 now, I'm just trying to. Where am I?
Trying to narrow it down.
Yeah, I'm trying to.
I don't know, maybe getting paid to jump out of a plane. Call me crazy.
For example.
Just thinking
For
that's a good one.
example,
It's not a bad one. It's not a bad one.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think what came after that age. I think, again, it was about really rethinking and recalibrating my whole career because it must have been around that age. In fact, it was around about my 50th birthday when I started sitting on boards. And that was something I never saw myself doing as a young Black girl who people thought her end was going to be on Social Security with a young baby. And that was never going to be me. So kind of come forward now. Yeah, I mean, I love my story. I love my story as well. But it's just exciting to see where I've come from to where I am or where I got to at that point. Now, the other thing that I did rip up the rule book with, and you're all going to laugh at this one, was when I had my first toy boy, who is still with me.
Girl, keep going. Wait, now you just woke me up.
Okay,
I'm sorry. Now we're
on this one.
Okay. Let's talk about. Please, will you tell us about
business,
that?
Yeah.
We don't need about business. This is it. Tell us about that.
So I went and I did a talk somewhere, and there was somebody I won't mention his name, he might get embarrassed, but he loves me talking about him. And I went and did a talk somewhere. He saw me. He used to run a lot of, or an organization for young black men. And he said, "Oh, can you come and talk?" And I said, "Why? Why should I come and talk at you?" "Oh, yeah." And he kept asking me to talk. Anyway, eventually I turned up at his office and there was a huge poster of me. The organization welcomes Yvonne Thompson. And I was like, "Oh, that's a bit over the top, isn't it?" Come on.
I'm loving it so far, though. This is great.
So anyway, I went and I did a talk and it was all wonderful. And his next question was, can I drop you off somewhere? And I said, "No, thank you. Why?" And he said, "Oh, I've got this big flashy car outside," it was at the time. And I said, "Oh, no, thank you. I'm fine. Anyway, I went off and 2 weeks later, he was like, "Oh, can you come and talk again?" I said, "No." It's something else. "No." Anyway, that was the big. I was going to say that was the beginning of the end, but it wasn't the beginning. It was the beginning of the end of me being a single black female. And how many years later, we're still together. Many years later, we're not married, but we're still together.
Oh, we're still together.
Yeah.
Did you know? I mean, that picture of you up there. Did you know what he was doing? Another little head thing.
Well, I
Did you-
didn't. I mean,
You
in
didn't?
fact, it did actually take us, or took him about, and he tells the story much better than I do, but it took us 2 years to actually get together because I was being stubborn. Hard to get, but I knew he was, I knew he was hanging on. So
I was going to say, you knew exactly what he was doing, didn't you?
I
You're
love it.
like,
I love it.
straight in there.
I love it. How do you beat that rule ripping example? Except I'm going to ask you to do that. What do you think is the next rule you're going to rip?
Well, the next rule or the next thing I want to do, and the next thing I've got on my bucket list, I'm a huge Formula One fan. And
I'm loving this.
What is it? 2 months ago, no, at Silverstone, however many months ago that was, I was actually invited by TikTok to Silverstone.
Oh, wow.
And we were in the Aston Martin. I mean, can I say this? I wanted to be in the Mercedes garage, but we were in Aston Martin, but it was amazing.
Oh, you came down a level or two then.
Oh no, it was amazing. I mean, hold on.
I bet it was.
Lewis Hamilton missed out. I mean, what can I tell
What
you?
can you say?
I did meet him though, not there, but I met him before. But
Wow.
yeah. So the rule that I want to rip up is to have a year out and follow Formula One around the world. Anybody out there want to sponsor me?
Oh,
I'm just liking the
heard it here.
reach.
Heard it here. There we go.
There we go. There we go.
I know you as a woman of extraordinary energy. Every time I see you, you're vibrant, you're energetic, you're always out there. But are there days when you wake up and you're going, "I'm just not feeling it"? And if they do happen, how do you get yourself going?
Very rarely. I'm passionate about what I do. I support women in business. I support training, mentoring, coaching people. I'm so passionate about that my passion keeps me up late at night. My passion wakes me up early in the morning, and sleep gets in the way.
Oh, I love that.
And that's the one right there. Sleep gets in the way.
Sleep gets in the way.
That's
Sleep
right.
gets in the way.
That's
so,
right.
so we're also on the show. One of the things we love to do is support business owners.
Oh, nice.
So wonderful Cynthia Akinsanya, who is an amazing baker, and she was on Kirsty's Homemade Christmas.
Really?
Now she has made some biscuits for us today. Now
Ooh,
her
look at
business
these.
is called Delights by Cynthia, and if you go onto her website, you'll see her phenomenal cakes. Follow her on Facebook as well. Now, what she's also very kindly done is anybody from this age who wants to put an order in to have a cake made or biscuits, you can get a 10% discount if you use this
nice.
age 10 in your order. Just put this age 10 and you'll get a 10% discount. How kind is that?
That's very kind.
Nice.
very
Have a
nice.
cookie. Have a cookie.
Wow.
So which one would you
I
like?
think the yellow one.
Oh, all
looks
yours.
Really
Beautiful.
good. This age.
This
Wow.
age,
So
this age.
good.
Love it, love it, love it. Wonderful. Cynthia Akasanya, thank you as always.
Thank you.
Love to support entrepreneurs. So we were talking earlier about confidence.
So one of the things we talked about when we were talking about confidence was that confidence changes your energy. It shifts the energy. It makes people pay attention and it makes you feel like you're on top of the game. But we don't always feel 100% confident. What tricks help you find that place, find that confidence?
Well, it depends on what I'm doing. I mean, obviously, if I'm going out to meet somebody and it's a meeting and I need to be confident, sometimes it helps. You won't believe, well, you might believe this. Sometimes it helps just having really good hair and makeup and a dash of bright red lipstick. That's your armor.
Right there.
That is your armor.
I love it.
On my
Great
armor.
trick. No, it's a great trick. It does. Thank goodness for lipstick.
Yeah, absolutely.
Goodness for lipstick.
Absolutely.
It should be a hashtag. I think it really should be.
It should be.
But we do have a hashtag on the show.
Oh, do?
We have a special segment that we adore, and it's called Screwed It,
Nailed it.
which is basically
Whoa.
in your career.
Okay.
Has there been a moment where you've gone into a situation and it's not gone well,
Yeah.
and you've gone away, thought about it, almost recalibrated, come back and completely bossed it?
One situation? How many would you like to hear? Probably the most recent one. I can't name organisations, but I was recruited as a change agent for a charity. And I went in there thinking, oh, yes, I'll make them entrepreneurial. I'll do this, I'll do that. Fantastic. But they just weren't ready for me. So we had to come to an agreement as to how we would go forward. I've kind of gone back in there with a different view. And I think it's about working it through. I probably went in there like a tornado, probably way too fast for them. My energy's too high for them. So it's about stepping back and, taking your time with it.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not sure if I've nailed it yet, but I'm back in there and thinking about what to do next.
What about the awareness? The awareness to sit back and go, okay, maybe I should have done it a little differently, or I did it this way, and we're going to try something different.
Absolutely.
Do you know, one of my
Absolutely.
favourite
Love
expressions
that.
is, rather than fast and furious, it's calm and curious. And there's something about
Oh, I like that.
That
Thank
is
you very
very,
much. But you
yeah.
take your time.
That
Look
is
at both of
very,
us, we're like,
that's
Take
definitely
your
the
time
way.
Calm and curious.
Calm and curious.
Yeah.
I can't own that, actually.
That's all right.
It was a brilliant woman who told me that one.
In response to your calm and curious, mine is don't be bitter, be better.
Oh, I think that
And
one
that's not
lands.
mine.
That's
That's not
good.
mine
Oh,
I
either.
love it.
That's
I
a
love it.
good
And
one.
that's the
They're
thing.
both
do
good.
you
I
know,
love it.
The thing is about the show, which
Love
we
that.
love with all the guests that are coming on, is the generosity. So I love the fact that we're having this conversation and not going, it's not mine, it was someone else gave it to me.
Oh, yeah.
And we're passing it on. And
Yeah.
that is a new
Passing it on.
segment of
Absolutely.
the show. What we want to do is we want to invite our guests to bring a piece of wisdom, a piece of advice, and pass it on to the next guest.
Mhm.
So we have asked you to bring an envelope with you. Now, we're not going to read it out,
Okay.
but we will take it from you, if we may, and give it to a future guest. Antoinette, would you
I would
relieve
love-
Yvonne of the
Thank
envelope? And in return, come on, I know you're itching to. She's itching to a piece of advice.
I'm laughing. One of my favorite pieces of advice is a presence technique, which I like. It's one of those times where when we're not feeling as confident, going to the confident thing, we do this thing where we slump our shoulders sometimes. We just kind of go in ourselves. And I always get asked, well, then how do you get back in the conversation? How do you build it? So what's the trick? And one of my tricks is a 2-part trick. It's called tits up and what's your point? And it's tits up because who wants to hear sit up tall? I mean, I don't know, that's boring. But if you do tits up, you're like, oh, look at that. There they are. But more importantly, you can't just do that.
Yeah.
You have to have a point.
Of
Because
course.
once you do this, people are like, oh, hi.
Yeah.
And then
Absolutely.
that's your time
Amazing.
to have
Love
a presence and make your point.
It. I love it.
Yeah, so there we go. Tits up and what's your point?
And I bet that
Fantastic.
wasn't the tip you thought you were going to take away today.
And I didn't. I'll write it for you
I
on
will
both
try
cards.
it soon. I'll try it and I'll
Text
let you
me
know.
and tell me how it goes.
I will.
Exactly. I
what
love
a
it.
joy, what a
I
joy,
love
what
it.
a joy. Yvonne Thompson CBE, thank you for being with us. A round of applause for Yvonne Thompson! What a stellar guest. Thank you for your time, as always. And to everybody who's been watching, I hope you've enjoyed the episode as much as we have. I've been Julia Streets.
And I'm Antoinette Raymond.
And we hope you've enjoyed this episode of This Age. And remember, it's all about women who are ripping up the rule book after the age of 50. Until next time, goodbye. A topic of relevance.
We're still rolling.
Oh, we're rolling.
we?
Okay,
Oh,
well, there you go.
sorry,
There you go.
sorry.
There you go.
I'm just going to sit
We'll
here for
just-
about
20
hours,
minutes, yeah,
actually.
just wait for another coffee.
I quite like the chair.
I was just
I'm
going
just
to
going to
say.
sit here for the
I'm
weekend.
at 12.
Come on, home straight, ladies, home straight.
Okay.
So here we go. So we're going to...
Oh, sorry. 3, 2, 1.
I don't like being told what to do by him anymore.
Oh my God, stop. Stop. Okay,
Okay.
I'll tell you what to do.
Sorry. Well, you always do. This is kind of how I've got that bit.
Okay.
Rewind.
Rewind.
The selector. No, isn't it?
I'm going to Michael Jackson it back.
No.